Alright folks, in this video I'm going to be showing you exactly what you need to do to launch a product on Amazon. So this is the exact launch strategy that we've used to launch the past 8 products in our brand, and it's helped us grow to over $100,000 a month in revenue. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Alex and we make videos on the honest truth behind growing real FBA brands in 2022. So I'm going to be going through every aspect of a product launch, right? So from creating your listing, keyword research, setting up your PPC, what to do after you launch, and everything in between. So the first 2 to 4 weeks of a product launch, these are known as the honeymoon period. And this is where Amazon tests your products out. So it's absolutely crucial that you nail it and you nail the launch. So I've also made a PDF that you can get in the description that outlines everything that you need to know. Basically everything that I say in this video. So if you want to download that, print it off, read it when you're on the toilet, do whatever you want to do with it, you're welcome to. Just check out the link in the description. So the first part of all of this is keyword research, and it's the basis for absolutely everything. It helps you write your listing and it helps you structure all of your PPC campaigns. So to do all of our keyword research, we use a tool called Helium 10. If you don't already have an account, you can find a link in the description with some discount code. So alongside Helium 10, we also use a tool called KWDominator. Now this is from a guy over at FBAExcel.io called Brett. All the links in the description as well. So in a nutshell, it pulls in all of the data from the top 10 sellers in your niche, assesses them for relevancy, and then gives you the data in a really easy to understand and really easy to use format. So I'm not going to walk through exactly how to use the tool in this video. I'll just show you a bit of an overview, but there are links in the description if you want to use the tool, and it explains absolutely everything better than I could do it basically. So this is an example here that you'll see of some keyword research that we did with KWDominator. And as you can see, we've got this list here now of super relevant keywords that we can go on and build our listing with, and then also create our PPC campaigns. So now from this, we've got this full list of our most relevant keywords. So we can move on to the next stage, which is creating our PPC campaigns ready for launch. So our PPC strategy is a little bit different at launch than other people's you might have seen, because we focus very much on just the keywords that we have from our keyword research. Now we only use exact campaigns for the first 2 weeks, and we don't use any auto campaigns. So the reason for this is that we only want to switch to auto campaigns when Amazon has a lot of data to use and we have focused all of our sales on those very targeted list of keywords that we got from KWDominator. So in theory, it makes Amazon think that we're hyper relative for these keywords, and it helps with our organic ranks. So here you can see we have an overview of the PPC campaign structure we use when we're launching our products. We segment all of our keywords by volume, with the highest volume keywords having their own exact campaigns. So the reason that we do this is because those keywords, if we mix them in with others, they'll end up eating up your entire budget. So it's much easier to control the bids and see the performance of those super high volume keywords when they're in their own campaigns. So what we generally do for any keyword with a search volume of 4,000 or above, we put it into an individual exact campaign with at least a $50 daily budget, and generally we usually go to 1.5x or 2x the recommended bid, so you can make sure that you appear at the top of the results and you get plenty of impressions and clicks. We then work our way down our keyword list, bucketing 5 keywords at a time into exact campaigns. What you'll be left with is a bunch of individual manual exact campaigns with your highest volume keywords, and then you'll have campaigns with just 5 keywords, all segmented by search volume. So again, the point of this approach is to send very specific signals to Amazon and Amazon's A10 SEO algorithm, or whatever you want to call it, telling it what we're most relevant for from the very beginning of your launch. So if we were to kind of mix in other random keywords at this point, or run an auto campaign for example, we can end up getting like random sales from random keywords, and it's not really what we want at this stage of the launch, as we want to maximize the chances of ranking for all of our top target keywords. So now we have all our PPC campaigns ready to go. You should also add all of these keywords into Helium 10's keyword tracking tool. This allows you to track all of your organic ranks during the launch and just make sure everything's going okay organically. So now we need to go on to the fun bit, which is building out your listing ready for launch. Now the key to any successful Amazon FBA product, apart from the product itself obviously, is to make an incredible listing. Now don't make the mistake of cutting corners and trying to save cash when it comes to things like graphic design and product photos. So you need to be hiring a pro photographer. Don't try and do these at home yourself with your iPhone. Hire a pro. Get amazing studio and lifestyle shots taken that show every detail of your product, and they can help you outline the benefits as clearly as possible to the customer. Now you can use 3D renders for your listing. We actually personally prefer not to. For some niches it does make sense and it can be quite a bit cheaper. However, we don't recommend that you use renders for lifestyle photos. It's just almost always better to use real photos. Just make sure that you account for this in your budget, as it's obviously a bit more expensive. So the goal of your listing and its photos, right, is to answer every single question and objection that your customer might have when they're looking at your product. So if you think about when you shop for something, right, you look at it and you think, like what size is this, or what's this made for? I wonder how long that's gonna last. There's a lot of things that you need to know and you need to piece together before you make your purchasing decision and before you go on and buy something. So you need to do your customer research, you need to look at your competitor reviews, their listings, questions on their listings, look at Reddit groups, Facebook groups, try as much as you can to get into the mind of your customer. So once you've done this, you can start to map out all of the key benefits of your product and the key things that you want the customer to understand when they're reading your listing and when they're looking at the listing. So a mistake here that a lot of people do when they're building a listing is they focus too much on features of a product rather than the benefits that people get from those features. So for example, right, if you're selling wireless headphones, people don't care what the battery is called. They don't care what type of battery it is. All they care about is how long they can listen to music for, or I don't know, true crime podcasts, like whatever it is you're into. You care about the end result of the feature, which is battery life. So another thing to remember here is to always explain one or two things very clearly in each image on your listing. Try not to repeat the same photo and the same benefit multiple times. Now the reason for this is that you only get a limited number of images that you can display. So you want to use each one very carefully to communicate something very different each time. So at this point you need to be hiring a graphic designer, maybe from Upwork or Fiverr if you're on a budget, and you need to get them to edit all of your lifestyle shots to include the text that has all of your key benefits that you got when you did all of your customer research. You should be aiming to have the absolute best listing in your niche and don't settle for less. Be the best. So all of this effort will pay off when you see a high conversion rate and your product ranking really well organically for all of your target keywords that you got from the first stage of the process from KWDominator. So the next step in making your listing is to write your copy. Now the main parts of your listing copy are your title, bullet points, description, EBC, which replaces your description when it's live, and on the back end you've got the search terms. So again, we always use Helium 10 for this. It's just the best way to do it. We use Helium 10 to build out our listings. They have this amazing listing builder called Scribbles. Basically what you do within Scribbles is you feed in your master keyword list that you got at the beginning, you put it in there, and then you write all of your title, your bullet points, everything else. And Scribbles allows you to see how often you've used each one of these keywords so that you can make sure you've not missed any of them in there and you're using exact match phrases throughout your listing. All right, so let's start with the title. So you need to be writing this at the start using your most relevant keywords from your original master keyword list. Now, depending on how aggressive you want to be with your PPC, you can either put your highest volume, most relevant keywords here in the title, or you can choose to target something that's a little bit lower, less competition, a little bit lower volume. It's really up to you and your budget and how aggressive you want to be. So make sure you're using exact match keywords here. We don't really care about descriptive phrases here, such as like high quality, long lasting. We really want to get as many of our top keywords into the title as possible, obviously without it sounding ridiculous. So next up, we've got our bullet points. Now again, you want to write these in Scribbles. We recommend having a non-keyword benefit or phrase in capital letters at the start of the bullet point. Then you need to write some benefit-driven copy using all of your keywords after this. So go through every section in Scribbles, make sure that you use all of your target keywords. For the launch, we're really trying to prioritize getting all of these keywords into your listing in exact match and phrase match. So it obviously does matter how this copy sounds, right? We don't want it to sound like robotic, but honestly at this point, the priority more is to get indexed for these keywords and tell Amazon what you're relevant for and that you're relevant for these specific keywords. So don't really worry too much about stuffing keywords in there. As long as it doesn't sound absolutely ridiculous, the focus is on getting those keywords in there. So generally you want your most important keywords in the title, the bullets and the description, and your subject matter and search terms on the back end where you should put some of the lower volume, less important keywords. Now, one important thing that a lot of people miss is the alt text on your EBC. So when you're adding your product images when making the EBC, Amazon will ask for some alt text, and this is a great place to put some of your top target keywords or some of the keywords that you didn't get to use in the other sections. Okay, so for this section, we're going to go over external traffic, right? So obviously PPC is a big part of a launch strategy, but we can also drive external traffic, which is something that Amazon really loves as long as it converts well. So you've got a few options for this, right? I'm not going to outline exactly how you do each one because it would take quite a long time, but you can do this using Google AdWords by targeting your master keyword list, so the same keywords you used in your PPC on Amazon. You can use Reddit ads by finding subreddits that are related to your product niche, or by sending your product to influencers or paying for some exposure on their channel, you know, their profile, whatever it is. So it's important to remember that you want to be driving qualified traffic, as just sending people to your listing and then them leaving, that can actually be really bad and it can do more harm than good. So just be aware of this when you're doing your external traffic campaigns, that it needs to be qualified traffic that actually goes on and converts. So something else that we always like to use when we're doing our product launches is coupons. So these are basically little offers that you can add to your listing. You can either do it with a fixed dollar amount, like $2 off, or you can do a percentage off, 15, 20%, whatever you want. Now you do pay a fee on these, so make sure that you take that into account, but generally on an item around $30, we will run a $2 coupon, and it really helps with your click-through rate and also your conversion rate. So what you'll find is that people often clip the coupon, so they actually like click on it, but they don't redeem it at checkout. So you'll see a lot of people will actually click on it and then they won't use it. So it's a win for you because they've seen it, clicked it, but then they didn't actually take the discount. So you get the full amount. All right, so the next section we're going to talk about is reviews. So one big question that we get asked all the time is, how do you get reviews, right? And honestly, there is no magic silver bullet here. Most of the time it comes down to having a quality, a great product. But there are some ways that you can do this from launch. And one of them is the Vine review program. So this is run by Amazon, and at the moment I think it costs around $200 and the cost of giving away your product, because you give away the product for free. But we recommend doing this at launch because it's a good way to get those first written reviews. Just obviously factor that into your budget. So on top of this, you can use Helium 10 again. So they have this auto follow-up message feature, and it allows you to message your customers after they've bought the product, asking them for a review. So be careful not to spam your customers too much, because you can send these messages, I think, almost as often as you want. But just be aware, because you know yourself, if a customer just sends you a ton of emails and messages, it gets a bit annoying. So a lot of people will tell you to ask friends and family for reviews, but we always recommend against this. Honestly, it's completely against terms and conditions. If you get caught doing this, they can suspend your entire account, and that can be your Amazon dream down the shitter. So make sure if you're asking people to leave a review in your product inserts, so that's when they buy it, you have a product insert and you ask for a review, don't use any language that incentivizes people to leave a positive review. So don't mention 5 stars, nothing like that. Just simply ask them if they can leave a product review and how they can do it. That's fine to do on your product inserts. So now we're going to look at a little bit of launch pricing. So what price should you launch at? So generally we start our pricing around 25 to 30% lower than what we intend to sell it at the top end. So we generally never really go too low with this, right? Some people recommend giving huge discounts, but we actually think that customers associate a low price with low quality. But feel free obviously to test that out, but that's what we do personally, and it can often depend kind of what niche you're in. But we'll keep our price the same for about the first 5 to 7 days, and then what we do is we slowly increase it every 1 to 2 days. we creep up the price by about $1, and we keep our eyes very closely on the conversion rates just to make sure, like, if you put it up $2, it doesn't absolutely tank. All right, so now you've created your listing, you've set up your PPC, you've got your coupons ready to go. Maybe you've emailed some people that you know for the launch, everything else. This is the fun part where you get to celebrate. It's the most exciting part. Launching a new product is amazing. It never gets boring for me, but it's important to remember over the first week or so to closely monitor your ACoS. If you do see any of your PPC campaigns that are bleeding cash, i.e. your ACoS is over 150%, for example, then you'll need to take a look and adjust the bids on the keywords that are causing the issue. So the first week or so, we generally let everything just run as it is. If your campaigns run out of budget, but they're performing well and the ACoS is good, then just increase the budget. Don't be scared to increase your budget as long as the ACoS is pretty good and it's not costing you too much cash. So your goal over the first few weeks is to drive as many sales and as much sales velocity as you can for those targeted keywords. Just keep an eye on anything that's spending a lot and it's not really converting. So by weeks 3 to 4, you should have really started to optimize your campaigns, adjusting the bids down and bringing your ACoS down slowly. So a great way to do this manually is go to the targeting section of the campaign manager. And this is where you'll see all of your keywords for every campaign and its data or their data. So from here, you can see on a keyword level exactly which bids you need to adjust to bring your ACoS down. So remember, at this point, again, our goal is to rank as wide as we can for as many of our target keywords. So keep an eye on your organic rank. That's why we added them to Helium 10, right? So you should see them start to improve as you go through 2, 3, 4 weeks. You should start to rank for more keywords. Your ACoS should start to come down, and that's a successful product launch. All right, folks, so that is it. That's the guide to our launch strategy. I hope you got something from it. I hope you got some value. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Let me know down below what you think. If you got any questions, if something didn't make sense, I tried to make it sort of concise, but also a little bit in depth. Let me know in the comments below, and check out this video above that I did on Amazon SEO and the A10 algorithm. I think if you like, product launch stuff, that'll be really interesting to you. But if not, like, subscribe, all of that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one.